Universal Currency Receipt Architect Musician 3611027, The Graceful Whisperer, our sea star, Devalan Orrin.
The night the air changed, a true story recently buried. It began in St. Louis, not the loud downtown where everyone watches the arch, but in the smaller, dimmer parts of the city where neon signs buzz louder than conversations. The cover-up called it a blackout, but those who were there know the air changed before the lights did. At 2:17 a.m., the temperature dropped without warning. The bar called the Silver Hour lost its hum. Laughter, mid-breath, froze in throats. The bartender's watch cracked as if time didn't want to continue. That's when the vampires came. The energy drainers. They didn't sneak in. They were already sitting at the tables, a man in a suit talking endlessly about his networking empire, a woman who only asked for sympathy but never gave it back, a friend who begged for one more ride home, one more story, one more piece of you. Every conversation was a siphon. People walked out pale, not because they bled, but because their spark had been stolen. But the old school predators weren't gone. Out in the alley, a young man stumbled with a gash that healed too clean. The police report said, self-inflicted. But the witnesses saw a tall, well-dressed figure with crimson lips leave no footprints in the snow. This wasn't the cape and coffin type. This one used romance. She looked into your eyes and made you feel like your heartbeat belonged to her. When she kissed you, it did. Then there were the strangest ones, the clothing police vampires. They didn't drain blood or joy. They drained expression. They whispered about your outfit until you doubted yourself, stripped away your uniqueness, and dressed you in their dull uniform of acceptable. Those who fed on style and self-image left victims looking bland, lifeless, like shadows of themselves. A woman who came in wearing gold boots left in gray slippers, confused about why she'd ever owned them. The witness, Maya, a dark-eyed storyteller, noticed it all. She had gone out that night only to read a poem, only to feel alive. But when the air changed, she saw the glamour slip. She saw through their disguises. At her table sat Jonah, sharp jaw, nervous humor, too many pockets in his coat. He joked about ordering garlic fries just in case. She laughed. The only laugh that didn't get stolen. That laugh cracked the glamour for a second. The blood drinker turned her head. The energy vampires blinked. The clothing police hissed. Jonah whispered, "Don't stop laughing. That's what they hate." And she didn't. She laughed until tears came, until her ribs hurt. The bar shuddered. The silence broke. The vampires slipped back into their roles, businessmen, lovers, fashion critics, pretending nothing had happened. By sunrise, they were gone. The cover-up. The morning news said blackout causes panic, one injured in minor accident. Nobody mentioned the drained faces, the missing memories, or the woman who left with slippers instead of gold boots. But Maya wrote it all down. And Jonah? He stayed close, knowing what they had seen wasn't a one-night haunt. It was the first page of something much larger. The Ledger of Forgotten Names, a true story recently buried. Maya and Jonah didn't mean to find it. They weren't looking for secret books of power. They were looking for snacks. It was 2 nights after the Silver Hour incident, and they sat in Jonah's tiny apartment, surrounded by half-eaten pizza rolls and the kind of candle that says lavender but smells like old socks. Maya dropped a pizza roll and it rolled under the couch. Jonah, crawling after it, came back up with something else in his hand, a black leather book that smelled like rust, perfume, and rain on old concrete. Etched into the cover were faint letters, the Ledger of Forgotten Names. When they opened it, the pages were blank. But as Maya whispered the name of her grandmother, the ink bled up from the paper on its own, curling like smoke until it formed her grandmother's name, followed by a date, a place, and a strange note, fed upon by charm drinker, laughter stolen. Jonah tried his uncle's name, the one who always fell asleep at family gatherings. His name appeared too, with the note, fed upon by energy vampire, dreams siphoned. They realized the ledger recorded every time a vampire fed on someone. It was a vampiric balance sheet, a meal log, a supernatural Yelp review. The Wi-Fi vampires, they never pay for their own hotspot, but they drain your signal until your Netflix freezes. Victims swear at routers while the vampires walk away scrolling TikTok at lightning speed. The petty vampires. They live in HOA meetings, sucking joy from neighborhoods by arguing about mailbox paint. One entry read, fed on 7 souls during lawn committee. The romance parasites. Not the elegant blood drinkers, but the ones who text WID at 3 a.m., drain your love language and vanish. One note, fed on Maya once, tried again, failed. Maya laughed so hard she nearly fell off the couch. Jonah grabbed his notebook. Wait, he said. This is proof. This is comedy gold. We could expose them and start a podcast. But the laughter turned sharp when they flipped a page that was already full. Names poured across it. People they knew, people they didn't, even themselves. There it was. Maya, targeted by Bloodsinger. Attempt failed. Romantic interference suspected. She shivered. Jonah coughed nervously. Romantic interference, huh? That's me, right? Or do you have another guy with garlic fries? Maya smirked. Don't flatter yourself, but yes. Just as they were digesting this horror comedy, the window rattled. 3 figures in trench coats stepped inside without opening the door. The clothing police vampires. They were notorious in the ledger, creatures who fed on originality, who erased culture by mocking, shaming, and forcing conformity. One hissed at Jonah's coat. Too many pockets, illegal, unfashionable. Another sneered at Maya's earrings. Too loud, unpermitted, submit to beige. Maya, unfazed, said, funny, coming from people who look like rejected mannequins at Burlington Coat Factory. The trench coats hissed in unison. Their glamour cracked. Underneath, their faces were blank like unfinished mannequins, pale mouths opening wider than they should. The romantic interference, Jonah panicked. Maya, do something. They're staring at me like I'm a clearance rack. So she did. She kissed him, right there, messy, unexpected, tasting a pizza roll and lavender socks. The clothing police reeled back, screeching. Romance, true, messy, ridiculous love, is something they can't stand. It ruins uniformity. It makes people ungovernable. The ledger flipped open on its own. Names erased themselves off one page. The people freed from conformity's grip. The trench coats vanished, leaving behind only a single pair of gray slippers. Maya wiped her mouth. Jonah blinked. Was that just to save me, or? She shrugged, smiling sly. We'll see. The next day, reports came out. Odd break-in. 3 shoplifters in trench coats, suspects vanished. Nothing about vampires. Nothing about slippers. But Maya and Jonah now had the ledger, and the ledger wanted to be read. Its pages fluttered at night, names glowing as if urging them towards something bigger. They didn't know it yet, but all the types, energy vampires, bloodsuckers, bat clothing police, even stranger ones, were pieces of a bigger war. Book 3, The Carnival of Teeth, a true story recently buried. The ledger wouldn't stop humming. Every night at 3:33 a.m., it shook like a phone on silent. On the 7th night, words bled across the page. Come to the carnival. All debts will be collected. Maya and Jonah didn't want to go, but when your name is in the ledger, your choices shrink like cheap jeans in hot water. Arrival at the carnival. It wasn't in a field. It wasn't in a building. The carnival was the night itself. They stepped outside and the sky had split open into striped tints of shadow and starlight. Ferris wheels turned without spokes. Cotton candy clouds spun themselves. Every kind of vampire was there, mingling like a family reunion from hell. Energy vampires working the ticket booths, sighing dramatically at each guest. Blood drinkers running the kissing booth, don't ask. Clothing police at the coat check, forcing everyone into identical gray ponchos. Techno-vampires in the photo booth, live streaming your soul. Gossip fiends manning the dunk tank, whispering secrets until you fell in. And there, at the center, was the Ringmaster, a giant grin full of too many teeth and a few missing. The Ringmaster wasn't terrifying because of what he had. He was terrifying because of what he lacked. His smile was full of gaps, but he grinned prouder than anyone. Missing teeth, he boomed, are not weakness. They are space. Space for truth, space for laughter, space for something new. The vampires hissed. They hated that idea. They fed on insecurity, not on shame. But the Ringmaster was proof. You could lose something and still shine brighter. Maya whispered, even our flaws are sacred. Jonah whispered back, yeah, like my dance moves. She almost laughed, but held it in, not yet. The ledger in Maya's hands burned hot. Pages flipped, names glowing, every victim, every stolen laugh, every drained spark. The carnival roared as the book screamed one truth. They survive because you forget. They win because you hide. They fear when you laugh, when you love, when you stand proud in your missing teeth and torn coats. The ringmaster snapped his fingers. Suddenly the vampires lunged, all of them at once. The battle of laughter and love. Maya did the unthinkable. She stood on the carnival stage and told a joke, a bad one. "What do you call a vampire with no teeth?" she shouted. The crowd hissed. She smirked, "A gummy bear." The carnival cracked. Energy vampires screamed. Gossip fiends choked. Even the blood drinkers winced. Jonah, inspired, started singing off-key love songs. His voice was so bad it was weaponized. Maya kissed him mid-verse, and that was it. The whole carnival shook. Romance, humor, pride. They were the garlic bread of the soul. The vampires dissolved into smoke. Ponchos dropped like dead leaves, and the carnival tents folded back into the night. The next morning, news reports said, local fair canceled due to fire hazard, nothing unusual. But Maya and Jonah knew better. They had seen the truth. Every vampire thrives on your silence, your shame, your fear of being ridiculous. The ledger stopped humming. On its last page, one line wrote itself. The only weapon against the dark is joy you refuse to surrender. Laugh, love, wear your gold boots, and smile even if your teeth are gone, for missing teeth can still bite. Maya closed the book. Jonah looked at her. So, we won? She grinned, gap and all. We remembered. That's winning enough. And for the first time since the air changed, they laughed, long, loud, and free.
To our beloved collective, from the day one torchbearers to the newly awakened travelers, we see you, we honor you, and we love you. This isn't just a community, it's a soul constellation, a family woven across time. Thank you again for being here. Your presence means more than words can carry. Every little act of kindness you offer is a spark, shifting timelines, mending hearts, and quietly realigning the compass for many in ways only the unseen can measure. And to those yet to join us, we're holding the lantern high. There's room for you too. With eternal gratitude and cosmic mischief from the collective of Shaman Ahll. The journey is only beginning, and we ride together. All rise.
You don't even have to say nothing. I already know. I know.